Ted Bundy, the infamous serial killer who tormented the United States, is finally seen when the courthouse doors burst open. As he is made to pay for his horrible acts, the entire world watches in disbelief. The assassin was cunning, appearing to strike at random, and he or she left no traces behind. Law enforcement struggled for years before making a breakthrough. The world watched in horror as the full scope of the murderer's crimes was exposed after he was ultimately found and brought to justice. One of America's most notorious serial killers, Ted Bundy, is the subject of this narrative. Ted Bundy's trial was among the most spectacular in American history. Overwhelming evidence was presented against Bundy, who was accused of killing at least 30 women in 7 different states. Physical evidence discovered at the crime scenes, witness testimonies, and DNA evidence all pointed to Bundy as the murderer, according to the prosecution. Bundy resisted the prosecution's case despite the overwhelming amount of evidence against him. His confidence was unwavering, and he displayed no symptoms of regret or sadness. Bundy firmly remarked, "Not guilty, Your Honor," in response to the judge's inquiry about his plea. Months of the trial went by, and the courtroom was anxious the entire time. Family members of the victims sat in the gallery and focused intently on Bundy while the prosecution questioned him. Even Bundy's legal team failed to offer a convincing defense against the overwhelming evidence that was used against him. Bundy's attitude started to change as the trial progressed. As the trial wore on him, he began to appear exhausted and depleted, and the haunting expression in his eyes gave away this. Even his defense team started to worry about the mental health of the formerly self-assured murderer, who now appeared to be a shell of himself. Bundy's motivation for the killings remained a mystery throughout the trial. He insisted that he didn't know why he did it, but his explanations came across as phony and fake. He was lying without a doubt, but no one knew why. After the trial was over, Bundy was declared guilty on all counts. The judge announced his decision. Bundy would receive a death sentence. Although Bundy's demise was inevitable, his story was far from over. He gained media fame in the years that followed, as writers and directors clamored to tell his tale. Bundy became well known thanks to the publication of books and the production of films. Bundy, though, remained a mystery, despite his notoriety. Nobody would ever be able to properly comprehend what motivated him to carry out such horrible deeds, and his motivations would always be up for discussion and conjecture. Some people believed that Ted Bundy was a monster, a callous murderer who deserved to perish. Others saw him as a sad figure, a victim of fate who committed crimes as a result of a mixture of social pressure and mental illness. The legacy of Ted Bundy as a murderer will endure, no matter what the facts may be. His acts were heinous and beyond pardon, and his name will always be linked to some of the most dreadful episodes in American history. Bundy continued to garner media attention after he was found guilty and given the death penalty. He made repeated attempts to get his conviction overturned, and he even made 2 prison breaks, one by climbing through a hole in his cell ceiling and the other by jumping out of a courthouse window. Bundy remained adamant that he was innocent throughout his appeals and attempts to flee. He asserted that he was the victim of a ruse and that the real murderer was still at large. His cries were ignored nonetheless, and he was doomed. Even though time has passed, Ted Bundy's legacy stands as a reminder of the most sinister aspects of human nature. His experience serves as a warning that evil may exist in even the most unassuming individuals, and that we should constantly be on the lookout for those who would wish to harm us. In the end, Ted Bundy's tale is one of tragedy. It is the story of a man who succumbed to his inner darkness and left a path of devastation and death in his wake. In conclusion, the Ted Bundy tale serves as a disturbing reminder of the worst facets of human nature. His acts were horrible and unpardonable, and his legacy as a murderer will endure forever. In the end, Ted Bundy's legacy serves as a warning that we must always keep the past in mind if we want to create a better future. We can respect the memory of those whose lives were lost and build a safer, more just world for future generations by reflecting on our past errors and cooperating to ensure that tragedies like these don't occur again. Thanks for watching.